Something that separates a purely great game from a great obsession is something that I call ease of replay. But what makes a game easy to replay? Today I want to compare Skyrim, Dark Souls, and Bannerlord to hopefully make that clear. With that being said, hey, I'm Ray and this is Second Looks. Today we're looking at what makes a game easy to replay. As we get started, I want to jump straight into Skyrim because this is going to take a while. And you can probably guess that's the point. You see, something that Skyrim does, despite being a masterpiece of a game in some aspects, it falls short in a lot of other aspects. And one of that is its intro. It's long, it's unskippable, and it just drags on. Even the Helgen sequence, at least you have control, but just the cart ride alone is terrible. Anytime you want to replay Skyrim, you have to sit through this sequence in its entirety before you can even get to making your character. Now, of course, there are ways around this. You can do a save right before character creation or download the very popular mod Live Another Life. Even as you get further into the game, if you ever wanted to fully complete the story, you also have to sit through scenes such as the council meeting with the leaders of the Stormcloaks and the Empire. A very long, pretty much unskippable part of the game. Even watching it through speedruns, I don't know if they've come out with new tech to get past this, but at least what it used to be was just a lot of quick saving and quick loading just to skip through dialogue, and it still took several minutes on a speedrun that only takes, 50 minutes or so. These are really big instances of what can make a game kind of hard to replay, or at least hard to want to replay. That being said, Skyrim does have one big kind of saving grace, is that when you're replaying it, it may or may not be to replay the story. Honestly, I've played Skyrim dozens of times and maybe beaten the story 3 times because it's really not the point of the game. Now, I don't come to that satisfactory conclusion of seeing the credits, but I play long enough until I complete an objective I set for myself or get bored and move on. So while that council scene is a big detractor for replaying the story, it doesn't kill the game on its own. That being said, it is part of the reason I don't play the story. I'm going to move on to Dark Souls at this point, and I'm just going to let Skyrim play at real-time speed in the background. Right away, when you hit New Game, Dark Souls lets you create your character. This, I would say, is a positive, but it's not necessarily a negative if a game doesn't let you do that. After you create your character and are ready to play, you do get shown a pretty long cutscene. It's haunting, it's beautiful, but it drags on a little bit when you want to get to the game. The great thing is while it's there, it is 100% skippable. You can see I've already skipped past it, and boom, I have control of my character. But I do now have to, before I get to the rest of Anor Londo, get through the opening of the game. Thankfully, the asylum is pretty short. It's a little bit of running, you pick up some equipment, you fight the asylum demon, and you move on and you get to the bulk of the game. Even if it wasn't short, it's not a terrible tutorial. It doesn't hold your hand so hard that it just kind of stops you every 3 seconds and has a screen full of dialogue that you have to read through. It just kind of lets you run through and figure it out. Already we're about halfway through the tutorial before we enter the main game. Let's hop back over to Skyrim and see where we're at over there. It looks like we just finished our cart ride, but we still haven't made our character, we still haven't gotten to do a single input in the game. We can look around, so I guess you can count that, but otherwise we really haven't gotten anywhere. So if it isn't obvious, Skyrim is my example of bad ease of replay, while Dark Souls is actually only my example of moderate ease of replay. Let's jump to our good example of ease of replay, Bannerlord. Again, we're going to walk through this one in real time. This is my first time booting up the game since the War Sales DLC came out, so Bear with me, I have to readjust some of the brightness settings. Everything's a little bit washed out, and I don't really know how all the things on screen are set up, so it's going to take me even longer to get started on the game. That being said, there's a quick intro cutscene that kind of tells you about the history of Calradia. Easily skippable. You get straight to your character creation, which again, I kind of forgot what type of character I wanted to make, but I knew that I wanted to really focus on two-handed. I knew I wanted to focus on smithing for this character, so I kind of read through what I needed to, built what I had, and was pretty much ready to go. The great thing about that was after I built my character, which you'll see here in a second, there wasn't anything more I had to do. I chose my age, I chose my flag, whatever, skip. I didn't really do anything for any of the other games, so it's a fair comparison to do it this way. Start game, and that was it. The game started, now I'm replaying the game. It's a perfect ease of replay. Let's check back on Skyrim. Well, it looks like we at least made our character, but we're still not able to control our character. Let's hop back again to Dark Souls. Alright, we beat the Asylum Demon. Now we get the big Pilgrim's Key, which means we open the door, and in a few seconds here, we'll be in Anne Orlando and be able to start the game. Again, this is a pretty standard, moderate example of ease of replay. There's a tutorial, it's not bad, and it's pretty short. So there are 3 examples of bad, moderate, and good ease of replay. Games that allow you to get straight into the action, games that really take a long time, and games that have a hurdle, but it's easy enough to jump over. We'll swap back to Skyrim one last time. I just want to point out that I just mashed through character creation for this because I was just recording this to make the point. We fully started 2 games from literally hitting new game to actually getting to the main bulk of the game, and we have not gotten to control our character beyond looking around with the camera. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I talk about ease of replay. This is really frustrating to sit through when you just want to play a game. And as I mentioned, Skyrim is by no means the worst example when it comes to ease of replay. There are some bad instances like this, but it's overall not that bad. There's another game, Ni no Kuni: Wrath of the White Witch. A beautiful game. It's animated by Studio Ghibli, developed by Level 5 Studios. It's a monster collector that tells a heartbreaking story. It's funny. It's just a really, really good game. I played it once and probably will never play it again because while the gameplay and stuff is fun, it takes about 5 hours or so to get to the core gameplay loop of creature collecting and battling. It is a beautiful story, but when it comes to easily replaying the game, it lacks so much, at least in that department. That being said, it's still a great game, it just isn't obsession worthy. Furthermore, ease of replay is not the only limiting factor to being obsession worthy. It's why it's one of 4 factors. You can have a game that has pretty low ease of replay, but if there's so much more that's drawing you back to the game, you'll typically push through it. But it can really be a detractor. There's actually kind of a fun way to get a feel of if a game has ease of replay without ever even playing it. I call it the speedrun litmus. Just look to see if a game has an active speedrunning community. Maybe don't necessarily watch the speedrun if you care about spoilers, but see how active the community is and see what times the games hold. If they're multi-hour speedruns, say 5-6 hours like it would be for a Final Fantasy game, it's probably not going to be the easiest game to replay. But if the speedrun is pretty short, under an hour, chances are you can get through the game with relative ease. Also, if there's an active community, it's probably because there aren't going to be a ton of unskippable cutscenes, dialogue, and lengthy tutorial. Speedrunners tend to hate these things, just like I tend to look down upon them when it comes to being obsession worthy. It's not a perfect system to do this little speedrun litmus, but just a fun little thing I wanted to throw into this video. I'm not going to make you sit through watching me clear the rest of Helgen. You guys have probably done this several times yourself. But I am curious, how big of a contributing factor is ease of replay to you when it comes to picking a game to obsess over? Do you really look for games that don't have these big cutscenes, long tutorials, or do you just not care and just kind of ignore that part of my videos? Totally fine if that's the case. It matters to me, but like I said, it's definitely not the biggest contributing factor. But regardless, I hope to see you again soon, and until then, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope that you know that you truly matter in this world. Take care.